Okay, so it's 4:04 on July 1st, Tuesday. Everything seems so weird. God, everything seems weird. But one thing though I do want to say is this morning when I was feeding Stella, it was and I was just thinking about her and her health and her size and how they said that that was impossible, and especially with her condition and her diagnosis and all the treatments they wanted to do. Well, yeah, it would have been impossible. Yeah, she would have probably already been in liver failure. Now, by the way, this lady, I have no idea. So I don't know. You know, all this stuff is new to me, just like it is to everybody else. This, and this is why I like to stick to fucking plants, man. So the horse face. So this lady, this horse lady, she's at the tractor store, and she's in there doing horse stuff, getting feed or something. And she's standing there, and she said this guy walks up, and he starts buying the horse paste. And so he turns to her, or she says hi or smiles. Somehow an interaction occurs because everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And in this interaction, he says, "How much do you give a dog?" And she is just dumbfounded. She is like, like, what? She's showing on the video, like she just can't even believe, like, what in the hell? Like, I'm so confused. What? And she said that will kill a dog. And she said it will send him into liver failure. It will send him into blah 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 blah. And she was just beside herself. Like, she has never even heard it. She has no idea what's going around. Like, that everybody's on it and their dog. Like, come on. And he told her, he said, my dog's been on this for years and it has no problems. And my dogs did it for, so I have no idea. But it still seemed like it's, you want to know all the sides. You don't want to cut yourself off from information. You want all the information. And this is the thing about information. You want all the information. Then life will show you when information blocks that you pick and choose and why. And this is what is about to really be seen in this world. But so whatever information you have, and you want as much as possible, once you have your information, you make your choices. Your choices are connected to something. They have an attachment, a string. Oh, okay, I see that now. What? Oh my God. I swear to God, it's so much sometimes. Like, your life is a grid, but it's a grid inside of a grid inside of a grid inside of a grid. So like a Mandela inside of a Mandela inside of a Mandela inside of a Mandela. And then all the Mandelas all connect. And it's like, you are a grid system. You are, you are an island of information, of experience, of players. And so in this grid system and this connection, this is how fucking magical this place is, man. How it shows you things. It's on such a deep level, and everybody's so on the surface here. It's like, especially if you're a deep person and you got made fun of it because people didn't like it. Like, this isn't something just new. This is something that's always been. People are just now seeing it because they're becoming more spiritual, and so now they're seeing the pushback. But the pushback's always been there, and they've all been included in it. And there's always been this feeling, that you're crazy and stuff. And now, yeah, I swear to God, I saw all this shit that just keeps happening. It's just like, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. I saw that coming. I saw the movie. So, hold on. This one was this girl, because everybody, and they are waking up and becoming spiritual. Well, they want to be the best one. My ego's at play here. I've got to be the best one. I'm not here to learn. I'm here to tell everybody. So, so they jump onto the spirituality, and they've got to be the best. And there's not really, much research. There's not much research that goes on anything, but people just don't think deeply. It's like they keep people on the surface. It's like this. Okay, yeah. So I see it. Okay, so I have a person fishing. And then you have the fish that are down low, down deep, and so they're harder to catch. And then you have the ones that are more at the surface, so you twirl the water, maybe put out hooks and lures. Man, God, sometimes I get all these flashes of all these different ways it's been shown to me. Fuck, man, things are so intense right now. Like, and this is like a chore to come into this world, because the other world, when I'm asleep, but I'm not. It's like I'm somewhere else, and it's very busy, and it's very it's weird, because it's like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a waste of time. So the I got so much shit open already. It's like, fuck, my brain's already melting. So this allure, so cause a disturbance in the water to pull up all of the top feeders in the thing. Oh. Oh, because if you can create a separation, you can see. Oh, how interesting. So if you could pull oh gosh, we're just out here exposing, we're the ones exposing ourselves, really. But really, I mean, the energy has changed. But oh God, look at that, how it just fall right into it. Yeah. Because then, yeah, everybody wants to show their spiritual badge, but what a better way to pull the people apart to see which ones are the problem? Because the ones you don't want these ones waking up. You still got your slaves, so that's but things are gonna flip. Like I think once there started being a lot of numbers and people waking up, things were already shifting into our side, although there still is like huge dramas going on and stuff. But I think it was safe. Otherwise, yeah, it would have been create the separation and then take them out, take them out, take them out. And maybe that is, no, because it's some of these protests and stuff, the people are so asleep. They're being used as like the bushes, as these other people are trying to create a battle zone because they're being paid by these other people. Which I just heard this crime thing that's really irky. So I'll say that too in a second, but I gotta finish this first. Okay, so okay, so the creator ripple. Okay, so but when you were like me as a especially I remember as a kid, it was kids are shallow or whatever, and I was deep. I've always been super deep, like, and people pick up on it and take it all different ways. But it's very out of the ordinary for a lot of people. But then when you see society and how they do keep this surface level disruption to keep everyone's attention, and so even like the lower ones or whatever, they're looking up because something's going on, what's going on? And so they keep people distracted. But it goes so much deeper than that here now. I mean, it's so much manipulation, so much programming and mind control. And but nothing can be what it's not meant to be. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, though, where you pick how you align to things. So we are flooded right now with information. So we got information upon information coming at us. And a lot of it is very emotional. It brings up old wounds. It is pushing us to it's kind of a judgment, but it's a judgment that we've got to kind of feel comfortable in to set a standard. It's not to say that this person, this soul, is a bad soul, is worthless, there has no value. You can't take away someone's value because you can see the role or the situation that plays out, because that's for your entertainment purposes only. And so you get to see and witness, observe, and learn what you can from different situations. But when you go into judgment, it is it's a way to pull yourself into that so that you will have to experience something so you learn to not be judgmental of that. I've had that happen so many times, I can't even tell you. That's why I tiptoe on judgment, man. You start feeding that beast, and well, to me, it is it's like a blessing, because then this other side comes in to show you, and you see, even though it's fucking hard, but you'll be like, oh my god, this is what they were going through. Because it gives a very different feel. And so okay, hold on, let me see if I can put it together. There's still more, I'm not done. So the I could have bugs crawling on my motherfucking face, I swear to god, dirt and everything. So okay, so okay, then so you're tied into different, to me, it's kind of like your emotions. It's like your aspect of emotions. Your emotions are like your sensor. So when you feel overly emotional or really pulled in a certain way, you want to stop and question them. You don't want to just stop and question, if you're happy. Like, why in the world am I happy? You can if you want to, but it's when you start feeling really tension, anger, division, hate, uh, resentful, all these different things, the list of negative stuff that you're trying to realize it's inside of you, so that you can figure out these things that are the hold, what is holding you. And so those are the tentacles. That is this pattern. If all of your lives, it's like the snowflakes. It's like how all the snowflakes are different. And so that's what they say anyways. You could pick up 100 jillion snowflakes and they're all going to be different. That's like the souls, and that's like our patterns. That's like a micro macro thing. Everything represents everything else. And so as energy going, it is, but it's like, to me, it's like a day at the library. You just go through these different, like, how many books can you read, and how many stories can you go into and experience. And they're fast, even though it feels slow when you're in it, but it's fast because its time isn't the same essence as it is when you're in a bubble of experience. And the bubble of experience is like a stage. It's like lights, camera, action, and but the stories are being played out. The stories are written. So even all the things about when somebody wakes up and their attitude, and everything is the way that they were always going to do it, because there's some lessons behind it. It's not like nobody can do anything wrong. It's like it's impossible to do anything wrong. Even if you do things to put karma or put things out of balance, you just have to rebalance them, which just creates more experience and more design to the universe. So it's an expansion. So it's not looked at as you're a failure, or you're not doing it right, or you need to get your shit together. No, everything is everything. It doesn't matter what you think your life's a mess. Well, it's not seen like that by the universe. The universe only sees expansion, and it's very interested to see how you're going to play things out. And that's where we experience ourselves. And so the more reference you can have, so this is all from this little video that this lady freaking out over the horse pace, that anyone's giving it to dogs. It's like, everybody's taking it, right? There's cats taking everybody. So and I don't know, it's so weird. It's like he was trying to educate her, and she was just like, she was just flabbergasted. It's so weird. Maybe that's part of her awakening. I don't know. It's just, everything is so fucking weird. This morning there was this fucking tropical sounding bird outside that was going crazy. I was like, I've never heard anything like that. The snorting thing, whatever the snorting is every fucking day now. So the snorting thing is out there. Now everybody's catching on that we live in this like more of a fairy tale folklore, and that all of the little things are real. And there's lots of videos apparently of gnomes and stuff. Like, people are starting to like the worlds are merging, and people are starting to like, but like this girl who, well, my mom, she's 70 and she's super spiritual. She's always been spiritual since, since the beginning of time. And she's, so it's like this, I don't know, it's like uh, a way to, I don't know, she could genuinely, this is where intention comes in, because there's a lot of attention seekers. There's a lot of people looking for relevance. So you have to notice this in yourself. What are you honestly trying to do? Focus into yourself, because then you can also honestly be wanting to share information with people. And so she's going through her mom's books, and she found this book. I don't remember what it was called, but so she's going to read it and talk about it. And she said that when she asked her mom to borrow it, she said that that's how she learned how to drive a stick shift. And so right away to me, I'm thinking it's about mind training, which when I started training my mind, it just was like natural, but I have strong guidance. So my guidance has always been there, has always been guiding me. And so, yeah, when I'm having a fear over something, then they try and tell me how to get out of the fear, and then I follow the steps. But so there's books written of this kind of stuff, and I'm not sure, but there's so much you can do with your mind, but you got to, take the wheel. And this is what the thing is about lower chakra, where everybody is, in the shallow end, that they aren't in control. They are in autopilot. They're just a subject to their response system. And so they are just reactive in life, because all these cords that attach them to all these different traumas and emotions that they've experienced is they haven't dealt with them. They haven't managed them. And so when one comes up, that is your opportunity. But so on the thing about having a lot of information, so you bring in all this information, and then you make choices over, how you handle something, what you do or whatever. And so then there's an outcome, and then there's a consequence. And so it can be multiple different things. It's not like you can do it wrong, but that is the part where you learn things. So it's not like you could ever do wrong making a wrong choice, but you will see the outcome and the consequence of all choices, which in some cases will make you expand more into wanting more information and more choices and more time to think about it. And but a lot of people, they just become like mad at themselves and down on themselves and stuff like that. But that's not what you need to do. Yeah, it's not being productive. That's being a whiny ass. That's a victim. You don't stay in this victim. You got to pull out of it and see your strength and be like, well, yeah, you got to have some bad character, or some what we consider negative or bad characteristics of yourself. Because if you didn't, who would protect you? Who would do? I mean, there's a side of you that has to be a little rough and tough. So, you have to just find balance. And some people have to discover that side of themselves. They're so scared of rejection that they won't put themselves out there at all. They'll let themselves be a doormat. They'll let themselves be walked all over, drained of all their energy, and still not speak up because they are in such fear of rejection. And that can be, when it's so crazy like that, then that's where you can really go and find out, what is this, where's the roots of this, where's this come from? I mean, did I really ever have anything that bad happen in my life to cause such a deep reaction? Like, you come in with certain fears, you come in with certain lessons, you come in with a flight plan. And so the more that you can connect to that, and so I know somebody's having a big hard problem right now, and I'm like, I swear to God, a past life, when you've gone through all these different things and nothing's working, and lots of people, you can't even tell them, like, go meditate and talk to your guides, because their guide, they can't hear them. They can't hear them because there's too much noise in the world. and there's too much interference, and the dark energy stays in your world and interferes. They just stay in there like rah, 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 like in your ears, so you can't really hear, you can't really think, and they just turn this shit up and crank it up, so people are actually just going crazy all over the place. Which I swear to God, this North Idaho situation is something bigger than what is being played out. Because I'll tell you why. It just is like got my little my alarm system sounding. Is hold on, let me get a drink. Okay, now it's gone. Okay, so what I think is it's weird because I keep having Vegas coming into my mind. And that one, I mean, I think, I don't know. I think most, but I'm one of these people who live in the deep. So I don't know. Probably 1% of the people know. Oh my God, fucking know. That the conspiracy behind that whole concert situation and the mass thing that went on. Oh, the guy who did it, just something that really, if you haven't heard all of the conspiracy behind that whole thing and what the people on the ground were saying and stuff, then, you know, it might be something you want to look into. But it's crazy how deep that they can go in lies. Just like the people who were there, it's never gonna, nobody else was gonna find out, which they did. There was 6 of them that, and I think they had made reports or something. Like these 6 were, and they just so happened to be at another club a couple months later or something, and they just so happened to be taken out, all of them at once. So yeah, these people are fucking evil motherfuckers. I swear to God. I swear to God. But see, every time though, I see it as the soul just coming in to, I'm gonna go in and do this part. Like to us, it's like trauma. Oh my God, it's so horrible. Lives are taking so short. But to the soul, it's just like bounce in, bounce out, bitch. Go have some fun. Go experience what is this. And so the okay, so in that conspiracy thing, so that was the whole thing with that, which there was multiple on the ground in Black Lake, and there was just so happened to be this Saudi guy, where's it looking, called the Prince. He was just so happened to be there at the place, and so yeah, there's a lot more stuff that, but the way that they said such big lies. But this has been, you know, when I very first heard somebody, they were, this is how long ago it was, they were tattooing this arm, and they started telling me, and I was already a conspiracy theorist my whole life, but they started telling me that, you know, that hook called Sandy, that they started telling me all the conspiracy behind it, and I was just like thinking, what in the wacky, what? Actors out there pretending? Like, it just sounded so insane to me. And it was like, how could they go that far? Like, that's really crazy. But yeah, yep, I had to play over and over and over. Like, god damn. Like, there's always, every time there's a goddamn drama happening, people have got those pictures up and finding them on and finding other clips with them. You know, these people just so happen to be at every one of these kinds of things, and every mishap just so happens to be these same people over and over and over. And again, I saw a guy doing a video last week, and he was like being all, you know, quiet. But that's the thing too, is there's a lot of pretending, because it's all just disclosure, because this is the time when stuff is gonna be coming out. So this guy was saying he was presently on a movie set, and the movie set was a WAR that was going on. So they were filming the stuff to put on to the news, and so he was trying to let everybody know. And then, so, if I didn't say it already, but if you want to fix things, past life regression, get in and look at shit deeper. Like get it, because it hypnotizes like your subconscious, quiets your subconscious, lets you get into having a conversation with your consciousness. Your consciousness holds more. Your subconscious is like the co-pilot, but it takes over most of the driving and it goes on autopilot. And but the you want to get to the pilot, you want to talk to the pilot, and so you get in to go do a past life regression, go into this hypnosis where they're asking questions, and things will come into your mind. You'll see things more clearly, and so it can really help people get over humps. But anyways, back on this conspiracy. So, um, so I saw when it was going down. Obviously, I'm in the area, so when you're on TikTok, uh, so many people, like people you don't know, but it's in your area, so you get video after video. So I was getting slammed with what was going on over in Idaho day before yesterday, and so I knew it was a huge thing. But there's so many huge things going on. There was another one last night somewhere else. So there's so many huge things going on all the time, and all I do is kind of, I don't know, kind of like a butterfly bouncing off of flowers, or just like, I'm just kind of looking to see, like, how fast is stuff moving, what's going on, are we kind of stagnant, are we moving full speed? Like, I'm just watching, like, the energy and through the people and how the people behave through the different experiences. And, so anyways, it's like observation, just like an observation. And so I wasn't, all tore up or interjecting myself into it or anything. And my mom was really upset about something. She's really getting hit hard with all this stuff. Like, and all I can keep thinking is, like, religion's not doing anything for people. It's not giving them any kind of thing. Or, I mean, they can connect, I mean, she's always talking to, you gotta figure out who you're talking to yourself. But but she's always talking to, guidance. And but it's, I don't know if people block it themselves of what it's allowed. I'm not sure, but there's a definite fear of death behind the people, you would think, and the sadness behind it. Like, they get tore the fuck up over some of this stuff. And to me, it's like, but this is a game. This isn't real. None of this is real, and it's teaching you to be present, to be there, because so many people aren't, because they're on autopilot. They're just trying to fill their needs, and then they don't use their time, and so then they're left with this sadness because they didn't use their time. So it is like it kicks their ass. It's like a guilt shame kind of encounter, and then you are drawn in to the pain behind the situation, and so the people get very all consumed with death. But death is a natural occurrence that is, like I said, it's like the avatars coming in and out and in and out, and they're all having a good time. And we get so caught up in the emotions, which keeps us, you can learn from it or you can be trapped by it. Everything that happens to you, you can learn from it or you can let it be your trap. And so so anyways, oh yeah, okay, so anyways, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to add more stuff onto her thing. And then I knew that would be, because once she saw yesterday, yeah, she's even thinking maybe we should go down to the procession that's going to go on this afternoon, the procession from Spokane to Idaho, I guess. I'm not sure because I wasn't watching this stuff, but it was, oh my God, it was blaring. It was so loud up there. Everything's so loud. And I'm like into peace, man. Peace, baby. Not intensity. And so, and it was funny because yesterday I said something about the news people, and I was washing some of my stuff out in the sink, and they're saying, they just say the same shit. Like, they can talk about, like, fucking tariffs for let's just chew it up until there's nothing left. So they just chew it, chew it, and chew it. It's like, oh my God, don't they ever get sick of this? But when I said that, it sounded like the same thing. Don't you ever get sick of this? All they do is just chew this shit up, and it's just a repetitive thing. And I was like, it's so weird how no matter what we say, it can be taken in so many different ways. And people do take it in all different ways. But that's what we got to start noticing is like it can be, when you're throwing it, it can be taken a lot of different ways. Just the words, everything. That your tone, everything. So, anyways, that's just an awareness to have. So, uh, anyways, I knew she was going to be upset about it because it's, it's near, it's firemen. My brother's a fireman, in case you didn't know. And so, and while all this stuff is going on, it was the anniversary of my sister's death of her baby. And I talked about that before. He died of a blood clot, weirdly. And this was like, he would be like 20 now. But when he was 7 days old. And it was a whole horrible, tragic thing. Nothing like that ever happened in our family, and it was really horrible. And she had been trying for so long. Like, she had her kid when she was older, and she did a lot of laboratory stuff. A lot of labs and doctors were involved all the time with her stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, just let that roll over. So, anyways, on this conspiracy. So, yesterday, it was still on my feed, and so I saw more information. Like, I opened my phone, the first video was this, and that, so it's they say it's a 20-year-old. Okay. So, it's just the whole rush of all of these different, from movie theaters, grocery stores, churches, everywhere. It's always this age range of guys that always have connections to our mental health. And I've probably been on lots of medications, probably under a lot of mind control. Like, it's so frustrating. But they are the patsies. They're the fall guys. They always have to have a fall guy. I mean, look how big, and they did to Manson, man. That was a big fall guy. That was a big crime. Like, it was really big. Oh yeah, I guess I was just having this movie come into my mind that was so fucking, had so much disclosure in it. That's a whole nother story. Let me see it when I finish this one first. So anyways, this kid's supposedly 20, and he's, now he wanted to be a fireman at one point in his life. He's motherfucking 20. And he wanted to be a fireman, and I don't know, they rejected him. And so he started a fire to lure them and have them come so that he could pop them off one at a time. Or just, I don't know, I guess, I don't think he had a machine gun, but anyways, when he got a couple of them, and a couple of them didn't make it. And so it turned into this huge thing that went on for, I don't know, it's still going on. But this whole huge standoff kind of situation, and it was a big ordeal. And they were searching, looking for him and stuff. And then when they ended up finding him, it looked like he did it to himself. Okay, well, you're telling us that church guy's wife who was leaving him, who was going to expose shit, that she happened to do that to herself twice. So, what's his name? The fucking singer. I think he was probably going to expose something. Courtney Love, I think, maybe she's a paid robot person too. Because she was on the logs and stuff. So, I don't know. Because they have a lot of these pretty girls that they get to use them as lures to lure men. And, so, like they have these models who get to interact with these millionaires and stuff like. So because there's a lot of models in that whole situation, involved in that whole thing, and they go through, one of the lure things was Victoria's Secret. There was more, but there was all these places. Oh, you want to be a model? You want to be a model? You get all these certain looking girls, all tall, thin girls that are gonna be, escorts. So, because then they go there, well, they don't all get these jobs. They all get the training. They all get put into situations. They all get offers. And it gets really dark in that too, really dark, because it gets really bad. Like, if you look up stuff with Dubai, it's like, it's where things can get the most extreme, but it's probably there's more extreme. I'm sure there's tunnels under us all having this horrible shit go on. It's so fucking extreme. How do people get so fetishy and sick? So the because okay, so even if they come and they do that and they get caught up, see, this is what gets you trapped in a karmic situation, because you do stuff to cause problems for other people, you know. uh Even if we come in agreement and to play that out, is still, when you do these things and it's inside of you, that you have to recognize this is the self-evaluation, so you can learn and grow things that some of us don't learn or grow. So that's why you got weird shit playing out all the time, where you think like, well, why would any soul do this? Because it's unique experience and stuff, but there's a lot of karma when you are causing harm to other people, and especially based on intention and what the purpose behind it and stuff. So when you're just, fetishizing torture and stuff like that, and doing that to innocent people, yeah, that's bad karma. Like, I get like some of these souls, I don't know, they're just gonna be trapped down here in the dark for a long ass time. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it does darken your spirit to the point where you no longer can really get up in that higher vibration. Like, say you're here, and then you come in and you do all this dark shit, and it just pulls you down. I don't know. Maybe you can't ever get back up to here. Maybe you do stay down lower, lower, lower until you cleanse all the dark dirt off of you. So it's thought. Anyways, so back on this conspiracy. So then they're saying, this 20-year-old who's so pissed off that he's not a fireman, that he's gonna, pop him off in this big dramatic way. And then just so happens his parents, in the picture that they have, it seems like a White House door. And they got their hats on, two different colors, one's red and one's black. It says the same slogan, and which any of this stuff could be photoshopped too. And so that's his folks. And then there's another picture of his dad sitting behind what appears to be the Oval Office, taking a picture in there. So they're into patriotism, patriot, whatever. And Idaho also has a lot of different rules. Like, it's one of the only states that is, you're not allowed to eat people, which there's still people getting eaten over there. I'll tell you that. There was so many crimes that I heard about when I was living here of that situation, but you're not supposed to in that state. Every other state you can, but not that one. But people do it. People still do it. So, anyways, so that then when they start showing that as their parents and stuff, right then I was like, okay, there's something. No, 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 no. There's something going on here. And Vegas comes to mind of how the extreme, what they will show and tell, is show and tell. To distract or manipulate our minds and give us the story that they want to feed us. And so then there's people who are all just so upset and offended because on all of the different information where the left people are talking, which they can still be bots, but there is a lot of cruelty and meanness coming out of this one side. And they were just going off on Idaho is so white supremacy, it's all MAGA and all the Aryan Nation and all this stuff. So people were going off on that online, and just like, and not giving any respect to this crime, this horrible thing that's just happened. They're just going off on like, yeah, well, same thing they did kind of in North Carolina. Well, that's what did they call them? Those are the people from you can't go in the streets at night or something. I don't remember what they called them, but you see essentially saying the same thing. If you're a person of color, you're in danger of being around these people. And at that time, there was a lot of people of color who lived in the area saying that's a bunch of bullshit. They're all our best friends. So what the fuck are you talking about? But it was like the Appalachian people also got this same thing. As any of the mountain people are gonna target them as racist, Aryan, they're anti-government. Well, yeah, because as soon as you wake up, yeah, fuck yeah, you're anti-government. So, anyways, um, and also like when you find out like Waco, all these things were way different than what they fucking told us, and they're going hard on this one, and I don't know, you don't know to what level the people know. It's like a need to know basis kind of situation. Get out there and just talk, and you don't know. I mean, they got these cleaners. That's what they're not called the MIB anymore. There's something like the cleaners. There's something else like the activator killer cleaners. I don't know, something like that. But they have a different title now than MIB. And so they, go out to these situations. They set them up. I've seen this in movies recently too, where, and it was a movie I think from the 70s or 80s. Could have been from the 90s. I'm trying to picture because I talked about the scene. But yeah, they set all this stuff up. They clean it up. They make it look a certain way, and then they bring in the cameras. So, anyways, you just don't know. Yeah, and this is an issue in some things too, where crimes happen, and then you got, well, the feds are here. They're taking over the case and stuff. So there's a lot of people who don't know all the stuff. So when you see, like local officials out talking about something, that doesn't mean that they're trying to deceive you. They may not know. So that's the thing, is like, it's not everybody knows all the stuff. But anyways, so in this case, then another strange fact arose, because this girl was looking into it, and she said, you want to know something real weird? Is the day it happened was the 24th anniversary of a situation that happened with the Aryan Nation and the firemen, where the firemen went in and stayed at their houses or something, like a compound. They went into a compound and they burned it down or something. I'm not sure. I didn't read the article. She was just talking about this conflict. And who knows, would there even be any firemen left from 24 years ago? Would there even be any of these Aryans left from them? But that's the kind of stuff, like, this group, the instigators, they know different things. Like, they are setting alignments and stuff. They're playing out stories. So it can very well be that they're going to come back and be like, this was something from the Aryan Nation. But see, if it was, then they would go in and, this kid, make him be the fall guy in certain situations. And people are expendable. They need that area. They need this situation to play out in this area. The people are expendable. And then parents are going to, have to run to the hills and hide because of this horrible thing. So, but there's no fucking way some MAGA people are out doing, that right there was like, that is absurd. And the I just don't believe that at all. If they're truly a MAGA person, like their focus is peace and love, man, they are going towards God. They're all filling the churches. They're going and getting baptized and, running around with flags and shit. They're all going in a certain direction. That's why it's like so weird that this other group can't see. They're going towards love and unity. They're all out there singing in the streets and prancing around together, wearing matching clothes and taking pictures, while you guys are all over here screaming, kill him, kill him, It's like, it is, you got a group full of hate that's coming to the surface, a group that was trying to anchor into love. And so, and that movement's all about is making things great, having abundance. Things are going to get better. We're going to have more jobs, more money, more this, more that. Like it. So they're all way more upbeat about stuff. They're not out there and especially first responders. Like they, it's like drop to your knees for the first responders. So they would not, no, I mean, that to me is like, no, bullshit. Bullshit. They're trying to sell a story because they got to get it in there that, oh, see, these racists, and how did it work? That certain group was right in there, just, racist, racist, that's the state doesn't matter, racist. So the storyline works every time. But no way, there's more to this story. There's more something weird. And who knows, I wouldn't say the alliance, the white hats or whatever, is going in and killing people for the storyline. But the other side is. The other side's got no problem with that. But there's also whole storylines that play out that never even fucking happened just to draw attention to certain situations. So the alliance will do that, will make something seem like something happened in order to get a good story, so you can get into the storyline, so you can understand. Like somebody was talking something about with Congress or Senate or something, like there's so much information that people are learning about Congress and the Senate and stuff. That is why this stuff is playing out like this, so you actually learn, you actually see, because these people are all about to lose their jobs. And it's going to be because we're going to all be like, fuck this shit, man. You work 2 days a fucking month. We're paying for this shit. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of this. You're fired. That's funny. The person who created this little slogan, and it is like, we're all about to be saying it to a whole bunch of people. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. People are firing their doctors, firing their lawyers, everything. Oh, yeah. And the judicial. Hey, fucking. So, there's a kid who's gone missing or something. And so this guy, he was like, oh, well, let me give you the backstory on this kid who's gone missing. And it's horrific. And him and his gang, you're traveling as a gang. When I see my dogs act as a pack, it's vicious, man. It's fucking vicious. And I keep trying to get them to no, don't. I mean, it's one thing to have each other's back. It's another thing to use each other as the power team to take over something else or someone else or another animal or whatever. That's vicious. And so so this kid was involved in a group of 8, and their tools of expression were a machete and an axe. I think it was. It was like vicious fucking shit you don't want getting waved at you. And they decided that a 17-year-old was their target. And he lived with critical, he had a bunch of slice and dicing going on. And so this kid was involved with this. And when they went into the court, the judge was like, well, I probably just give you some rehab or something. I don't know. You guys really need to get better. Don't do this kind of stuff. And the kids in the courtroom apparently are laughing at him. And he said, you guys haven't taken this serious at all. Well, there's no penalty to that. There's no penalty to this. Oh, no, you guys are so free. Go. Go into the world. But that just shows you, what is the judicial system really doing? It's finding the criminals, rounding them up, and putting them out there. And so they... but anyways, this kid's gone missing. No telling. I mean, it could be, in response to what he's already done. Maybe it's going to be like one of those movies where they take out each one by one. It's like, oh, that kid was involved too. That kid was. It's got to be somebody who. It's got to be revenge and avenging the crime or whatever, is they didn't get any penalty. When you do a crime or something, you want to have your penalty. You want to have your consequence. And I think that Casey Anthony, fucking Zimmerman, or whatever the hell that fucking weirdo guy name, I think that those people who got away with stuff has shown, like, the universe will, you take your penalty. Otherwise, the universe will give you one that's more harsh. And so you can't get away from it. It's impossible. The system is a lie. It's impossible to get away from your crimes. Doesn't matter. Like anybody who's committed things that were against another person, then there's a penalty. There's a price for that, and you cannot get away from it. And so that part, that they've done some people a favor by making them have to go and suffer a penalty or consequence to their crimes. And then you have every opportunity when you are suffering said consequence to expand, to change. Every opportunity in life gives you an opportunity to go one direction or the other. You're going to go take care of yourself, or you're going to feed into it. You're going to just let it absorb you, or are you going to move out of that energy? And and it goes in different ways. It goes in both ways. And some people, they maybe have to go to jail 14 times, and then they get out like, I'm changing my life, man. I'm really changing. I'm doing things different this time. It can be like because you got to change your whole state of mind, your whole mentality, to break these curses, to break these seals of a it's like a containment of an experience that you got to break free from by doing something different. And that is everything that you do something different. It's an expansion, and it's a realization that you're doing the same thing over and over and over. And so how you need to do something different. And I played that pattern out. I went from one relationship to another, thinking like, oh no, this is gonna fix it. This will fix it. This will fix it. This will make me better. This will make me feel better. This person's better. This person's different. No, you're just bouncing through this energy, just but they're teaching you things once you realize it. And once you realize you're learning, and what to me was I was learning was my own value. When nobody else has any value for you, you'll see. You'll see how far do you go down not valuing yourself before you pick yourself up. And you go like, hey, I'm worth more than you think. Like you start giving yourself value, you start giving yourself boundaries, you start, standing up for yourself. And that is where that energy will start pushing back, push you away. It either kill you or push you away. And once you start getting pushed away, well, that's your cue. That's the clue. Go in a new direction. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I've lost all my friends. Well, they're good for you. Which, this is one thing too, is so if you, because I find these situations interesting sometimes, because you can be around somebody and they can be, have their patterns, and you can come into their reality and you can recognize their patterns, and you can recognize this person may not be able to see some of the more layers to some of their relationships. But you, as the observer, can see some of this stuff. And to me, it is like some people don't realize. Something just flew by. Some confirmation. The toxic characteristics are so seen by other people. And so if you are going around trying to manipulate people and playing games, and so you're standing there with your friend and they're interacting with somebody or whatever, and you see this person is totally like playing games or manipulating this person, it's not like you need, it's like however you handle it is how you handle it. But the thing that gets me is that the person who's doing the things don't realize that they're so obvious. They don't realize, like, this person may be playing along with you, but I can see clearly what you're doing. And so people are being exposed, of you can't, people can see, you can see through the bullshit, and even when the person who's in the trap or in the play out, you can't see, but they'll see when they're supposed to see. And you can tell them, you can say, you know what I noticed in this conversation or whatever. And one thing too is there's addicts are a good representation, but we all have these certain things. But it is but say like addicts and alcoholics and stuff like that. So when they start running or hiding from their problems, so everybody does it one way or another. So they start hiding from it, and then that's their go-to. They start choosing, well, I'm going to go over here and get drunk or, sniff or snort or whatever in order to leave this situation for a while. I can't deal with it. And I was talking about this with my mom because, I was raised by somebody who did this. And so I've seen it for my whole life. And when it was my dad, I would always be like, I don't understand. Why would you go get drunk to hide from your problems and create more problems? Like, you're just creating more and more and more. It's like, stop and deal with them. But they get themselves in a loop where they can't, so they don't deal with anything. So they become very emotionally immature. They stay stagnant to the emotional level of wherever it was they start drinking. And a lot of them, it's like teenagers, or wherever they start doing drugs or whatever. A lot of them is like teenagers. So they've got the emotional response system of a teenager because they haven't worked on themselves. They haven't faced anything. They haven't grown from situations that have happened to them. And that's why when they stop drinking, they have to go through a lot of stuff to get to the point of feeling good. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a heavy person just dieting and not working on their real issues. And so the, but there's real issues. Like, you got to go back to why you started drinking and go into those issues to really relieve yourself of your toxic behaviors. Otherwise, you just continue toxic behaviors and you don't deal with them, and then you manipulate in order to keep your game playing because you don't know how else to do it, because you have to keep the board. You have to keep control of the board. And so, but that's things that everybody needs to recognize in themselves. Recognize their own toxic behaviors, their own manipulative behaviors, their own, and not to say like you're wrong or bad for doing any of these things. There's reasons. Like, you got to get back to the root cause. You got to figure out why do I do this? Once you figure it out, that's where you stop doing it. So, like on the weight thing, so many people are trying to lose weight and lose weight. And which now there's a whole movement. I knew this was coming. I said it. I think I said it a year ago or something, but I said that this movement over people being more unusual looking would be the highlight. People would really like their different features, that they're not so generic, that gives them something that makes them, instead of being embarrassed and thinking, well, I got to go get this nose that everybody else has, and instead of liking their own nose, and then the nose never really suits their face. Some of them, they can look really good or whatever, but it changes them. They don't look the same. They don't look like themselves. So but there's such an uptick in the plastic surgery. It's just so, it's on the front burner right now. And so many people talking about it. And especially with all these shows and all these there's like a whole bunch of reasons, but it's being really talked about a lot on TikTok. And so all these different people are like, there's all these girls now like, oh my God, I'm so glad I never got surgery on my nose. It's my time. My time is coming. People are going to be like, the more natural your face is, the more regular and stuff, the more people are going to like it, the more interesting it is, because this generic kind of reflection that starts becoming of everybody trying to change to look like whatever the standard is, whatever the trend is at the time. And people talking about like the people who have gotten the surgeries now are going to be fucked and kicking their ass, because now more natural, everything to be natural. The more your hair is natural, the more your makeup is natural, the more your face is natural, the more your body is natural. And that doesn't mean out of shape, but that is the more you don't do all these enhancements and you just try and be the best you are, that's going to be the trend. It's already taken off. They've already picked it up and flipped the pancake. You see it coming. I could see it coming from before, but now it's like going. And so we're going to definitely go into this thing. The beauty, the badge of honor is to like yourself, to honor yourself, to respect yourself, to value yourself. And that is going to be where people are really, that's going to be the new trend, the new, the badge of honor. That's what I hear. And so, anyways, it's going to go in that direction. The more that you can get comfortable with who you are, how you were born, what you are, the more you are, um, more you are, like, everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. So it's the more of like, uh, wanting to be that, and if somebody is like that, then it's very, like, they want to be like that too. Everybody wants to be comfortable in their own skin. That's going to be where we're headed, is everybody wants to get comfortable in their own skin. But we still have this event, this thing that's going to happen. If it's going to happen on the 4th, I don't know. That's this week. And so we're, days away now. And I kept on thinking, wouldn't that make sense? It's like that 1, 2, 3, go like that, instead of on 4. And so I was like, that could be like, oh, it's going to be right here, but right beforehand. So anything, or it could be like, oh, yeah, the guard's down now. Nobody's thinking anything on the 5. So you just no telling what's going to happen, or where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. There's all sorts of things of people, like, still, I see so many things with the Anunnaki. They're landing, they're talking to people, they're saying ships are coming in, the war's on, and all sorts of stuff. So, and people are, everybody's channeling them and stuff. And so there's all sorts of stuff being said. Like this week could be, they could come down and, tell us our truth, and open everybody's minds. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I just don't know what, but something's going to happen that's going to change everything. It's going to just stop everyone in their tracks and make them have to see something that they hadn't seen before, and it's going to be intense. And so, anyways, we still have that going, that happening, and then that is when a big wave of coming into their own, coming into themselves, learning to love themselves, learning how to take care of themselves. And it's crazy too, because it's learning how to take care of ourselves, but then there's going to be all this extra technology to benefit us. So it really is just headed in the right direction kind of way. It's like, you don't have to, like how we're trying to be the experts mastering all these different, herbs and all this stuff, but there's going to be a lot of assistance. But I still say, the people who are going and learning about this stuff, they are going to be, have great value. Like, there's a reason why there's people who are doing that, and that is the direction that we're going. And so those people, I don't know if it's going to be like, they're the experts. They're going to be the experts of this stuff, not the doctors. These other people, these herbalists and stuff. So, so there's going to be value in it. But where, we're all trying to figure out how to take care of our health and detox, all these different things, is there's going to be assistance. So there's going to be, now, it's like we're fighting against the world to try and keep our health. But it's going to be a healthier society soon, where the health is the focus, and taking care of yourself, and good lifestyles and healthy lifestyles. But that doesn't mean not having fun, never dancing. Dancing is integral, or something, to the soul. It's important. It's a movement, and it's a connection. You got to go. I think everybody has got to get out and close their eyes and dance. Dance like that. That thing about dance like nobody's looking is so real. You got to get out there and just feel it. Feel the music. Feel it go through you, and move with it. Go with it and just get lost in it. Then that's connecting to your soul. That's, you enjoying being a soul. And so I think there's a reason why tribes and stuff would, make big fires and pass around a pipe and get up and dance together, because it is all a spiritual thing. It's this connection. And And in a group, there's more energy. And so there's reasons for this stuff. It wasn't just because, oh, they were a bunch of weirdos out dancing. No, there's something to it. It's a movement. And there's more with sound and stuff too, like the drums and humming and stuff. So anyways, all that stuff is more important for our real state of being. So we're not going to go into a society that's closed off and structured in a really tight formatted way. We've broke free from that, and we're going to go into a more loose base, because we're going to be individuals. And so that's where you got to learn how to accept individuals, all these different weird things about people. You got to learn how to accept them. And to me, it's like to recognize, well, it's their soul journey, it's their soul story, it's what they're here to experience. And so, let people have their experiences, which in my experience now is I'm going to be staying at my brother's house again. So, it's going to be in the beginning of September. So, and I'm meeting my other brother, and I knew my sister was going to be trying to come too, so she may be coming. And, so we'll have like a little uh, family reunion of the siblings that grew up, because the four of us grew up together. Even though my mom had more kids after, we all grew up together as a group. And so, anyways, okay, let me see. Okay, so I said about the conspiracy. There's tons of shit going on. There's things that people are saying as of today, things are going to be getting closed down. I'm not even sure if it's going to be true or not, but there can be a lot of things that can be going on over this week. You've got DC really shut down. There's a lot of weird things going on there. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to lead us into thinking like we're super close to this change. Things really changing really quick. And so it's like this buckle up, be able to shift gears really quick and go. Don't sit and cry and get lost in the pain and suffering of the world, because it's going to be intense. And there's going to be a lot of sadness. It's going to, for a lot of people. But then once it breaks through, then people will be really headed into a really deep connection, and a deep connection with themselves. And that's this is what I'm always talking about. The deep connection is the learning to love yourself. So it is have to do with the that depth of your value of self. And that is what the lower vibration is teaching you when you're in the toxic pool of life, playing out patterns and just going. It is like I heard somebody say recently, it's like a loop. You just go, oh, it was ChatGPT. You're talking about a loop. So yeah, you're just stuck in this loop, going around and around and around, and see all the different ones going around. And that is where is the observer. Once you get out here around the people, you can see these different patterns. You can see where people, like, you could fix that. You could do different. You could do better. You could be a lot happier. You can see it all around you, but you can't go and tell them. They have to see it for themselves. These things have to play out. We're not here to interfere with everybody's storyline, but boy, you can see it. You can see it all around you. So anyways, those are all playing out. It's just weird when you can see this stuff. You can see and you can see it in more depth, and it's not in judgment. It's just an awareness. It's like, man, you can see it. And then but everybody's got their stuff to play out. So okay, so we got a lot going on with that story. I think is bullshit. And I think, I don't know if it's going to become surface level bullshit, or if it's always going to be like a conspiracy where you got to look into it more. And I bet there's just way too many obvious things in it that is just like, nah, bullshit. That's it's a little too talking point CNN to me. So, so there's more to that. There's more, I'm sure, to all these different ones that are going on. There's tons and tons of different horrible things going on all over the place. And I had tons of stuff about the money, and the peace. There was something else that I had, but everything is about this peace and this money. So whenever you're hearing the things about the peace treaties, that's significant. Any of these shifting things with the money. So there's something about like Bitcoin is gonna get dropped, but like they're gonna stop having it or something, and then XRP is gonna go way up. So any of these changes in the stock, and where they're dropping things and stuff, well, they're gonna be dropping off all the things that are bad, because that coin was kind of a beard or a bush for bad people. So they were using those, and I've talked about this for years, is they were using those to buy, sell, and trade the human trade industry, which has a lot to do with torture and horrible shit. And so there's a lot of horrible shit that went on, and that was used, that coin. That I just had something else coming into my head about something about the I guess a river, and then coins, the uh, people buying them, and then here we're gonna make them have more value, so more people buy them, so that they can keep them going over here. We got all these people grabbing them up over here, but it has no value. Like that, something's gonna go down about it because of all of the horrible crimes and stuff that was used. Oh yeah, okay, this was the story. Um, so this was a nurse I saw yesterday, and she said that she was talking to her dad, who's a retired doctor, and so she's quit being a nurse, and which every nurse, like mine, was forced out. Like I think I would have still. I mean, I had already left the hospital. I already saw through the bullshit, and I was working in mental health, and I was trying to tell the people they weren't crazy, but they're trapped in that belief system. And the because I live, I mean, I'm in that same realm, and it's like, you're not crazy, it's real. Like, it's real. I just saw a guy who was doing a video, and he was saying, is anybody else having these beings coming and fucking with you when you're trying to go to sleep? And I was like, yeah, you gotta tell them fuck off. And so, but you go read the comments of what other people like. But anyways, it's real. It's real. And so, uh, anyways, so this lady, she was a nurse and her dad was a doctor. And she asked him, when did you decide? When did you quit? When was it enough for you? Because, enough was for her, and she quit. And, which, there's schooling and light. Like, it isn't just like quitting working at the coffee shop. Like, you've dedicated a lot of time and effort into this position. And so it is a big thing when you walk away from some of these things. And so she had walked away from her experience as a nurse, but she was asking the dad, when did you decide that it was bullshit? And his story was that they had a friend that was, their 13-year-old ended themselves. And when they did, they were at the hospital. The dad heard the doctor, dad was there. Of course, the people who want the parts came in immediately. We want these parts. She's brain dead anyways. So, we'd like these parts, the donation would be nice. And so the mom, in a horrible state, is like, yeah, of course, signing all the papers. The doctor, he says, well, I'll go up with her. I'll go into the surgery with her. And he said they took everything, every motherfucking thing, skin, everything. He said they took at least, what did he say it was? I'm pretty sure he said $200 million worth of parts. Pretty sure he said 200 million. And could have been 20 million. It could have been 2 million, but I'm pretty sure he said 20 million. Way more than 2 million. He said the heart alone is 2. And he said what made him, and so he was there. He saw, they took all these parts, and he knew how much money they were going to make off of them. And then the next day, they had a call from the mom, and the mom says, we're having a car wash to pay for the funeral if you wouldn't mind, you know, if you guys wouldn't mind coming. And that was it for the dad. That is where he was like, yeah, he was done. He said that he was so fucking pissed that the corporation at the hospital was going to make $200 million off of their daughter's death, not giving 1 cent to the family when all the money should be going to the family. None of it should be going to the hospital. He said that they do this surgery, all this huge surgery that they do, and it's all for free. He said they won't do a free surgery on somebody who's dying, but they'll do it to take their parts and sell them on the big market. And that these, and the people who are benefiting from it. And also, I had just seen this other video, which I had talked about this a long time ago too, not in the same depth, but this girl, she said that the hospitals were created for the reptilians and the Dracos to get their parts, to stay alive, to set up blood banks, and to get all this stuff. So it was all a setup for them to get their stuff. So what surprised me? No, because the Rockefellers and the shit, those people are them. They are these vamp reptilian shape shifting, and who knows, you know, uh, these people jump into different characters and bodies and stuff. It's fucking ancestral weirdo world in their, you know, jumping bodies shit. So who knows, you know, if they weren't reptilians, but then a reptilian jumped into a Rockefeller, and then they're in this 13 original family line because they've jumped into it. So I don't know, but those people started the hospitals, but the whole thing was still used to keep us sick, but it was also to drain us of parts and energy and our own ability to take care of ourselves. Like, so many people are totally dependent on the system. But he was so disgusted of how much money that they were going to make off of the parts, and they didn't even pay for this girl's funeral. They didn't give the parents anything. That, hearing that part of said like that was like, oh my God, that is disgusting. He said it would really change things if every time that any donation happened from any family member, that they got all of the funds. And he said you could tell them that they have to pay for the surgery and then they get all the money, because, you know, what's up with this? They're going to do these surgeries for free, but they're not going to do anybody who's going to save somebody's life. We're going to kill them for free, but we're not going to save them. It's like, but when you really, you know, when these things stand out to you, those are the things to get you to make decisions, to go in different directions. And there is consequences. Like, you may go in a different direction. You may say, fuck this job, fuck this corporation, fuck this doctor and bullshit, and go in that direction. And then you may lose all your stuff. But that's a part of leaving it behind. So there can be consequences, but anytime you shed the old, you walk into the new. So there's ahead something better. So the shedding is good. Which yesterday I saw a big old snake on my walk. The first walk with the first set of dogs. So I had these ones, which they were totally ignoring the snake, and it was fucking big. It was skinny. And it was, I looked up at his head and he's sticking his tongue out, but he wasn't aggressive at all. He seemed like, fuck, it's hot out here, isn't it? And it's like, it's fucking hot, dude. It's so fucking hot. It's like in the air, something's off with the air. It's like you can't fucking breathe it. It's so fucking hot and you're just sweating. And it is like a humidity and a dry heat mixed or something. Oh, the water. Confirmation. There's something up. I don't know what it is, but it's hard to breathe. And anyway, so that when we were walking, this big old snake, and it was like coming out. So it was coming out of the ditch. So it was like, this part of it was long, and it was coming towards me. And he's just sitting there, just sticking his tongue out. And I was just standing there talking to him. The dogs are over here just ignoring him, but they're only a leash away. And so like 5 feet off him, not even 5 feet, 4 feet off of me. And I'm just standing here watching him and talking to him. I'm always talking to everything. And so he just sat there, you know, doing his tongue, but then he turned to go the other direction, which I kept putting in my mind. I kept putting the street's dangerous. So it's like you get squished in the street. I kept seeing it, and then he turned directions. And so on the front part of him, he was all like a snake pattern, because I kept trying to look and see, like, what kind of snake is this? And so it had all a pattern, and it was black and white, and it was like a snake pattern, and which I don't know how else to call it, but it wasn't, you know, a set pattern. It was like a snake pattern, and it was black and white, though, no other colors, and it was thin. It was like thin, and then but super long, super duper long. And so I was looking at how long his body was, and the back part was like a little more coiled, but at some certain part of him, it became black and white stripes. I was like, that is so weird. Why would he be two different patterns? How could that even be? And I just kept trying to study him, trying to figure it out. And I still didn't know if he was like a vicious kind of snake or whatever. But he didn't seem to be. He didn't seem to care too much about me standing there. And so then I took these dogs back and got the other ones, and he was gone by the time I got there. But when I got the other ones, I talked to my mom, and she said, well, you got to watch out. There's rattlesnakes out here. I said, there's rattlers? And she's like, yeah, there's not tons, but there are out here. She was like, what did it look like? She's thinking it's going to be a garter snake or something. I was like, no, it's black and white pattern on the back. Get like a rattlesnake or something. And she's like, well, you got to watch out. Don't be going back over there. He probably lives down in the rock pile. Of all the rocks that I was getting, because there's still a rock pile down there. All those rocks I was getting to bring up here. So she's like, he probably lives under there. And so when I walked back down there, though, he was nowhere. He was gone. He booted it, scooted it, whatever. He took off, and I didn't see him anywhere. And there was this one little forest of trees he could have gone in, but I don't think he went across the street because he was going the other way. So anyways, I don't know. But I came in and I looked at pictures, and I was trying to, because there's not ones that have two different patterns. There's like a bull snake or something that's striped, and then there's other ones that have these patterns and stuff. But anyways, I think it was a corn snake, and I think it was the back part just looked like it was striped because it was more thinner, so it hadn't spread and made more pattern. But I don't know, I didn't get close enough to them. But then I was even thinking, well, could there have been two snakes? Could one snake been eating the other snake? Like, I don't know. This snake didn't have anything in its mouth. He was just going, I don't know. It was weird. And it was just so long. It was like, I would say like 5 feet long, but it was like coiled at the end. But then the part that he was sticking out was pretty far, because that had to be like 1.5 feet. And then he had all this coil going back here. But at a certain point of it, it was black and white stripes. So anyways, it was really weird. Everything's so fucking weird. And I was like, so yesterday I'm thinking, do snakes mate? Like, could they mate with other ones and then crossbreed? Or like it could, you know, I mean, humans, we all do that. We all like mix it up with all different. And so I don't know if, because there's all sorts of people getting all sorts of video footage of weird animals now, weird cat looking things, weird squirrel looking things that seem to be half something and half something else. Even somebody in New York was like showing that the squirrels and the rats are joined up having sex and are making a new little creature thing that's half squirrel, half rat. I don't know. The government could also put these things out for us. They are making everything, and so, and then they release it, and so some of this, I don't know. And I don't know. I know snakes have a nest, and they have eggs of baby snakes, I think. I don't fucking know. Who fucking knows? Let's just look at my hair. Let's just get on with the day. 1, 2, 3. So my hair's dirty. I need to go wash it. I need to wash my hair today, I think. And my eye yesterday too, another big chunk of this stuff comes off. It's weird because it'll like come off like a scab will come off of my eye, but then it just keeps staying there and staying there. It never goes away. And so anyway, but it is smaller. It's way smaller than when I very first started this stuff. And which brings me back again to the whole thing with Stella and her thing, and how far we've come, and how if I would have done the stuff that they said, because there's a lot, like, she was diagnosed with hip dysplasia and severe arthritis when she was 1.5, and she might have been just 1, but I think she was 1.5. And it made like, oh, she's gonna have a short life, it's gonna be a horrible heart. And I'm telling you, natural is the way to go. But she also does do turkey tail, glucosamine, and boron. So I would recommend those. I also would recommend feeding your dog regular food, not, uh, government issue food. So, anyways, my tooth. Okay, let's look at that. There you go. And so then let's just end this conversation for the day. And just remember, because I'm telling you, you can't go wrong. The thing you always want to focus on, and the big focus that's coming, so you're going to be ahead of the game if you do it now, is focus on you. Changing your patterns, changing your life, making better choices for yourself, taking responsibility for the things you're doing. Stop playing the victim and, use the ability that you have to forgive people and let things go, and don't be caught up in, everybody's out to get you. So learn how to love yourself. Learn how to love yourself, then learn how to love everybody else, because everybody else needs it. The world needs love. Learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody, and learn how to have the day you want to have, because it's up to you and it has to do with love. So anyways, but we'll talk about it again tomorrow. So buckle up, and I'll talk to you later.